Some people have been asking about artifact items and rune cards and which ones are good to keep and which ones are great to remove for your filters. So let's talk a little bit about filters in Trickcal and what items personally I remove. Before we start, hello there, welcome back to the Waifus. I'm Sefhi, your favorite gambling addict, and today's topic is going to be artifact cards, rune cards, and which ones personally I tend to remove and why. Before we start, as usual, also important to note that this is based on my account having most of the items and having a lot of them maxed out. So these will change based on what you have, how many tubes you have, etc. That said, let's start with artifacts, then we'll do rune cards, and let's go from the lowest rarity to the highest, and we can explain why I disable some of these items. So as you can see, when it comes to green items, there is only one that I personally leave on, and that is the old wooden dagger. Any item with SP recovery is great in Trickcal at the moment, and it will be used 100%, right? Always. It's a great item. Crit damage is nice, it's not like a fantastic percentage, 10% max out, but still 10 SP recovery is great. There are a couple more green items that you could be using. The first one is the Elven one. So the Elven one gives a shield that is 60% of the target's max HP, right? While, for example, its counterpart right here, it's a shield that is 42% of the target's max HP. The difference is that the safety harness is also giving you 70% HP max out, right? Which is huge to increase that shield as well. But this is a great item because of the cost. It's 11 cost. If you get this early on one of your tanks or one of your front lines, it can help a lot, right? It can help a lot. So this is a great item. You could be using this depending on how many dupes you have and if you have a safety harness or not. Another item that is decent to use could be the Crown of Thorns for the price it has, but I'm reluctant to really honestly tell people to use it. The cost is pretty good, it's 10 cost. It gives defense, which at high deficit is good, but for most people it's not that useful. And it increases the skill damage by 15% at max level. For me, it's 13.5%. So the counterpart, the blue counterpart would be the J Codex, which is a 30% max out, exactly, double. But it's also giving attack itself rather than defense. That's what it is so much better in that rather than just running the Crown of Thorns. But again, as an alternative, cheap budget option is there. Another one is the Ring of Greed. This is useful for characters like Mayo that can apply status effects to the enemies. If you have one of those characters on your main team, you can use this item only on them, right? That is a great one. And then the last one that I can be like, okay, I could see two of them recommended are going to be the Shuriken, because again, is attack, which is great, normal attack damage, but it's a little bit more expensive, 17 cost. Then the Weather Arrow, because its attack speed, max out is 12%, which is not bad, but no other passive, but it's a 10 cost, pretty good. And then lastly is the Icy Charm, which I'm not a fan. I don't care too much personally, but it can help if you max it out because the cooldown goes down. Basically blocking one debuff one time, and it has a cooldown that I don't know what the cooldown is max level, and we can just check it directly. But it's pretty decent. It's decent depending on some bosses that can be annoying with the skills they have, right? This is not useful on every situation. It's useful on specific bosses that have annoying debuffs you want to be removing. And this is a 8-second cooldown max out on the Icy Charm. So those are like the green ones that I could recommend using, and I can see people using, right? Let's move into the blue ones and which ones I personally remove. So as you can see, blue, I leave everything but 3 of them. My least favorite blue item is the combat manual, because even if you level this up, there is no passive and it's only crit rate and crit damage. The percentages are not huge, and for the cost 20, there is just better alternatives. The second one is the Fanatic Mask, because this mostly works on tanks, characters with really big HP pools, right? So they're going to be dealing damage over time to enemies close to them, but it only works on tanks. But you are sacrificing an actual defensive piece for damage on your tank, while you could actually just be putting more damage on your DPSs, right? So at the moment, not that great. You can use it on your Komi, on your Vivi, on your Chloe, on any tank, and it works. I just don't like it. And then lastly is the Scale Armor. It's a defense and HP recovery increase passive. This max out is not the worst, but it's just that for the cost, once again, and the stats it has, there is just less usage at the moment for this, rather than just using a Grail of Origins for the shield, rather than using a Healing Pendant for more SP, or any of the other good items, right? So those are the 3 blue that I personally always remove. I just don't like them. And then when it comes to purples, there is only 2 that I remove. Now, I used to only remove the Fluffy Vest. Fluffy Vest, just like the previous item, the Skull Armor, is just purely defensive item. This is good at really high deficit combat power to actually survive longer on your front line or whoever is getting attacked. But there is no passive and it's 17 cost, making it a little bit more expensive. So if I have to pick between that or actual great items, right, I'm gonna be picking the good ones. And then the last one that I started removing now is the Eldin Lamp. Now, it's a great item. Do not remove it. But I just have better options because, like I said earlier, as you can see, my account is heavily invested. So I am lucky that I have everything or almost all of the items maxed out. So I can instead focus on the items that I prefer. But this is a good item, but since I have 1 extra slot, to me it's either going to be the Assassin's Scroll or it's going to be the Eldin Lamp. I do not dislike the Assassin's Scroll. I feel for the price it has, is decent because it gives attack and crit rate, and also it gives you the trickery effect, which means characters cannot be targeted, which this is great for mid lane characters, mid row characters, so they don't get destroyed. But I was between one of these two just so I can be getting the other items that I prefer, nothing else. This is still a great item you can put on your tanks, and it's a great item you can put on your healers, mostly on tanks like Vivi with self-sustain. So that's everything for the artifact cards. We can also go a little bit over the runes and which ones I personally remove myself. Now, when it comes to runes, it's a lot of RNG as well, and also you cannot use them in all game modes, so it does change a little bit. So obviously I don't have aromatherapy. You can buy this on the PvP shop. It's a nice card for the price that it has if you can max it out, and also it recovers SP. It's a decent card, but for the cost, I think it's like almost 30,000 PvP coins. It's kind of expensive, so up to you. I've been using my PvP currency for extra mallows so I can build more characters. That's just me. When it comes to green cards, I remove a few of them, as you can see. First one is Robust Health. I'm not going to be going one by one. A TLDR as to why I remove a specific green card is because the stats are just not great, or the cost is too high versus what they have to offer. Or also because they have no passive. So HP increase, incoming crit rate reduction, for the cost and the percentage, not worth it. When it comes to Robust Health, same thing. Victory bar, defense HP recovery. The percentages are just not great. Now, a lot of the times, most of the green cards are not good. Like, most of the green cards are just no good. If I could remove Wizard's Apprentice, or you're looking on Power and Trainee, I would remove it. Trainee, at least, is attack and crit rate, which is not the worst. But again, it's just a filler card, nothing else. The good green cards, however, are going to be these 3 or 4 right here. The first one, Random Coin. This will guarantee positive coins when you get it to 3 stars, or at least that you never lose coins. This can be used as a reroll, and obviously to increase how many coins you are getting, which is always fantastic. Regardless of the situation, one of the best cards you can get. Then you have a Strawberry Capsule and the Soda Capsule. These two are used as a reroll more than anything else. Also, the Soda Capsule has more utility because you can actually use it to recover SP for all of your characters, which is great. So those two are nice to reroll, really cheap cost at 5 and 4. And then the best green card, but only situational, is Get Her. Get Her only works on the current wave. But if you can max it out, it's a 25% attack increase on this current wave. And you can stack this up. You can get 4 of these cards and get a 100% attack increase. This is really good on this side. This is really good on the new game mode we got to Farm Equipment 101 on the Crash Course. And this is really good, obviously, on the Crusade as well. Can you get cards on the Crash Course? I might be tripping here. I think you can, but well, on those game modes, it's pretty good. So those are the 4 cards that I leave in here. Then you have blue cards, and we go back into a similar situation as before. A lot of them I just remove because I don't care about the stats they provide and the cost they have. Cheer Up being a 24 cost with attack speed and crit rate, I don't care for how expensive it is. The best blue cards are going to be always this one with the actual passive. Your lineup is considered to have 1 additional X personality: Vivacious, Mab, Calm, Innocent, etc. You should switch this depending on what team you are currently running. I was right now running a Vivacious team, so I've been using that card. But you will always switch this based on what team you are using. You can also set different teams for each Yggdrasil side. So you can have 1 for each personality and then just put that rune card in there, which is great. And then we go into the purple cards, not counting obviously aromatherapy. Most of them are pretty good. Alice Fake Magic is really good on almost any situation you can get cards, mostly on Crusade at high deficit is fantastic. Then you have Combat Master, skill damage is always welcome and benefits 99% of the characters in the game. I think at the moment only the Summoner characters don't benefit from this. And then lastly, Epica's card. So Epica's card, in my opinion, is only worth getting if you are running a Vivacious team. If you don't have a Vivacious team and you don't get this at the first wave or second wave, I tend to completely skip it, and even sometimes at the first wave I'll skip it because it's a 30 cost, which is pretty expensive. But again, first wave, second wave, it's justifiable, you can get it. If you're running a Vivacious team, any moment get the card because of the passive for Epica is pretty strong. And then Fatal Charm, I tend to usually disable it because almost 30 cost for just increased crit rate and crit damage is not that great in my opinion. So those are the cards I use, and also those are the artifacts I personally use and disable. Like I said earlier, this will heavily change based on what you have and how many dupes you have, right? So based on this, just go to your account, see what you want to remove, what teams you are running, and what can benefit them. Hope it's at least a nice guideline for you to have as a reference to see what items you can remove. And as usual, we are live every single day. Links in the description down below. Good luck with your pool, the internets, and I'll see you next one.